come out of your pockets. You think prices are high now? Donald Trump's message basically is, you ain't seen nothing yet. All right, so that's as far as you can tell, that's his plan, right? Because it's not written down anywhere. When it comes to health care, you heard it in the debate. Donald Trump's got one answer. Ending the Affordable Care Act that 45 million people rely on. The other day, his running mate, J.D. Vance, you gotta vote. The other day, his running mate had the nerve to say, Donald Trump salvaged the Affordable Care Act. I mean, Donald Trump spent his entire presidency trying to tear it down. And by the way, he couldn't even do that right. And now, 8 years after he was elected, when he was asked about what he was going to do, he says he's got concepts of a plan for how he'd replace it.
8 years later.
I want you all to think about this for a second. Let's say your boss gives you an assignment, a project. He says, I need this on Friday. And Friday comes around and he says, so, did you finish that project I asked for? And he said, well, I actually haven't started, but I have a concept of a plan.
Mm-hmm. Genius.
Or you could try it at home.
Stable genius.
Honey, did you do the dishes? I have a concept of a plan to do the dishes. How's that going to go over?
Not very well.
If it wouldn't work for you, why in the heck should it work for the President of the United States?
Because he's a special boy, a privileged,
But the good news is,
rich
Kamala Harris,
brat.
she doesn't have concepts for a plan. She has an actual plan to make your life better. To bring down the cost of things like groceries. She'll go after corporations that are jacking up prices. Just like she went after big banks and for-profit colleges when she was an attorney general in California. And believe me, when she does, nobody's going to want to stand in her way. I remember after the home mortgage crisis, Kamala pushed me and my administration harder than any other attorney general in the country to make sure homeowners got a fair settlement. It did not matter that she was pushing a Democratic administration. She was not going to let anybody stop her from winning as much relief as possible for the families who deserved it. And because of the work she did, those families got billions more than they would have otherwise got. That's the kind of president Kamala Harris will be.
She works for the people. Trump works for himself.
To lower housing costs, Kamala will cut red tape and work with governors like Josh Shapiro, as well as the private sector, to build 3 million new homes. And she'll give first-time home buyers up to $25,000 to help with the down payment.
Specific plans in place.
Plans, concrete plans.
Mm-hmm.
And for a lot of folks, that could be the difference between watching their dreams pass them by and finally owning a place of their own. To lower health care costs, Kamala already worked with Joe Biden to take on the drug companies and bring down the cost of insulin and hearing aids and more than 50 prescription drugs. And as president, she will never stop working to limit out-of-pocket costs and protect your care. That's who Kamala is.
Legitimate health
She's
care
got a track record of doing it.
reform. Legitimate.
And here's a big one. Instead of giving more tax breaks to billionaires and raising prices on working families, Kamala will give a tax cut to 100 million middle class and working people here in America.
How about that? How about that? Build the economy from the middle up.
So, if you're a new parent, you can qualify for a $6,000 tax credit during the first year of your child's life.
Oh, specific
Because
details.
I don't have to tell a lot of you, raising kids is hard. And she
6,000.
wants to make it easier to afford stuff like a crib or a car seat
4 families.
or diapers. I remember buying diapers. I remember the first time I went in the store right after Melina was born. I was like, what? That's how much diapers cost? I remember changing diapers. You think Donald Trump ever changed the diaper?
Oh, hell no. He never mowed a lawn, never changed a tire, never changed oil, never changed a diaper.
I almost said that, but I decided I shouldn't say it.
This grifter, spoiled brat, sore loser.
If you're starting a small business, Kamala Harris will give you a $50,000 tax credit to help you get it off the ground.
More detailed
That's
plans.
who Kamala Harris is. That's what she stands for.
Wow, businesses, family.
So with Kamala, you've got actual plans. Trump, concepts of a plan. Now, if you challenge Trump to elaborate and enumerate his concepts, he will fall back on one answer. J.D. Vance does the same thing. Doesn't matter what the issue is, housing, healthcare, education, paying the bills. Their only answer is to blame immigrants.
Mm-hmm.
They want you to believe that if you let Donald Trump round up whoever he wants, by the way, and ship them out, all your problems will be solved. Now, we've got real issues at the border. We are a nation of laws and a nation of immigrants. We have to make sure it's fair. There are communities at the border that can be overrun. We've got to actually solve a problem. But when I hear Donald Trump talking, I've got one question. As I recall, Donald Trump was president for 4 years.
4 years.
And if rounding up and deporting millions of desperate people and building the beautiful wall, and didn't matter whether some of those folks you rounded up were women and children, if that's the answer to everything, well, why didn't you solve the problem? Why were the number of immigrants basically the same when you left office as when you took office?
Exactly.
I'll tell you why. Because he didn't have a real plan.
He's incompetent.
He had talking points.
Incompetent.
He had concepts of a plan.
Blowhard.
And the plan was mean and ugly. And it was designed to enhance his politics and make people angry, not to solve the problem. You know what you know what would actually help bring order to the border and fix our immigration system? The bipartisan deal that Kamala Harris supported, even though it's written by one of the most conservative Republicans in Congress.
Preach.
The same bill that Donald Trump tanked on purpose. Because he thinks fear-mongering is how he's going to win this election. He told Republicans, even the ones who had originally supported, don't vote for it. Because he doesn't want the problem solved. We don't need a president who will make problems worse just to make his own political circumstances better.
Amen.
We need a president who actually cares about solving problems and making your life better. And that's what Kamala Harris will do.
Effing man. Come on. Get out and vote in November.